I'll just speak as a guy. I'm not going to speak for kids, women, parents. I'm just going to speak for a guy that's driven in my professional career. I keep score. I'm competitive. I know who my rivals are. I know what their podcast numbers are. I know what their streaming numbers are. I compete with everything. Every day. I look at digital. I look at podcasts. I look at TV. I'm a competitive guy. So I'm going to speak for guys like me, the guy that's driving around that owns the landscaping business, and he's checking out those rival landscaping businesses. I'm talking to the lawyer who's in that law firm, and he's watching who's getting the best cases. I'm talking about that doctor, and I'm talking about that sales guy today. I'm just going to talk for me. Guys who really are into their career, and to be a great quarterback in the NFL, you're into your career. You keep score. It doesn't mean you hate all your rivals. You have good relationships with some. You certainly respect them. But you keep score. And you're always chasing somebody. When I got into this business 15 years ago, it was like Jim Rome was the first national guy. I was chasing him. Let's go after Jimmy. Not so much anymore, but that was my thing. This is the reality of, I'm just talking about middle-aged guys like me into their career. So Aaron Rodgers, with virtually no chance to get to the playoffs, let's be honest. Green Bay has no shot. Losing to Baltimore and Pittsburgh, won those games different, lost both, done. I mean, they would need Seattle, New Orleans, and Atlanta to all collapse, and Atlanta and New Orleans play each other twice. They would need like 3 teams to collapse. It's not going to happen. Here comes Aaron Rodgers back into the fold, practicing. You see him on TV. Why? He doesn't need this game to get the Packers back in the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. He doesn't need this game for stats. He's going to be one of the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. He already has the number 1 all-time passer rating in the history of the league. He has the all-time number 1 TD to interception ratio in the history of the league. He's one of the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. Never needs to win another Super Bowl. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers, top 10 quarterback of all time, couldn't give a rep if he ever gets to the Super Bowl again. He's in the club. So he doesn't need to come back for that. He doesn't need to come back to help the Packers because they have virtually no chance to make the playoffs. They'd need 3 teams to collapse. And Seattle, New Orleans, and Atlanta aren't all simultaneously collapsing. By the way, I think New Orleans could end up in the NFC Championship. They're that good. Why is he doing this? Because guys keep score. It's a legacy play. Who played in Green Bay? Who is Aaron Rodgers in the shadow of? Brett Favre, the great, lovable American cowboy / quarterback who never missed a game. Aaron Rodgers dates Hollywood girls. He's a Cali guy. He wants to show you, nah, I can dislocate my shoulder, break it. I'm back 2 months later. Think about the 2 people, and don't kid yourself. All these guys, Brady was chasing Manning and then Montana. Marino was chasing Elway. Big Ben was chasing Bradshaw. Young was chasing Montana. Andrew Luck is chasing Manning. Dak is chasing Romo. Okay? That's the way the game works. To be as great as these guys in their professional careers, they keep score, and they find somebody, and they chase them. Brett Favre casts a darn big shadow. As great as Aaron Rodgers is, and I've said this before, if you made me choose Favre and Aaron, I'd choose Aaron. I think he's a more cerebral player at the line of scrimmage. I'm not as big a fan as gunslinging, making it up as you go. There's a play for that, but I'm more Aaron than Favre in terms of all time. I think I get a little better pre-snap at the line of scrimmage with Aaron. I'd probably take him narrowly over Brett Favre. This is a legacy play. There's no reason to come back. Why risk injury? Team's not going to the playoffs. It's not going to hurt you all time. If he replaced Drew Stanton, a backup, Andy Dalton, you wouldn't have to come back. This is the power of the Peyton Mannings. It's the power of the Brett Favres. It's the power of the Joe Montanas. It's the power of the Michael Jordans. It's the power of the Derek Jeters. They cast a big shadow, man. And this is Aaron Rodgers, California guy, Hollywood models. Hey, I'm tough. Who are the 2 quarterbacks? Who are the 2 quarterbacks that Aaron Rodgers is chasing? Okay, Brett Favre, never missed a game, toughest guy ever, superhuman. Use that word, superhuman. And Tom Brady, 40 years old, by far and away, statistically, best year, superhuman. Aaron's never going to duplicate Brady in Super Bowls, and he's never going to have that extended streak, play, never miss a game as Brett Favre. What is Aaron Rodgers to this point? What is his brand? Hail Marys, Jared Cook throw, makes that run last year. It's superhuman stuff. This adds to his legacy. He's never going to equal Brady there, never going to equal Favre in the consecutive game streak. But this, for a guy that keeps score, don't kid yourself. For a guy that is an all-timer, chasing people, trying to surpass people, this is what this is about. It's not a criticism. This is what LeBron does with MJ. It's what Tom did with Peyton. It's what Young did with Montana. It's what Big Ben does with Bradshaw. It's what Romo did to Aikman. And it's what Dak's doing to Romo. It's not a criticism, but it is the reality of super successful, driven men in highly competitive fields. They keep scoring. I said this earlier. There's no reason for them to risk it. They need the Seahawks, the Saints, and the Falcons to tank. They ain't making the playoffs. They're just not.
Why?
They lost to Baltimore.
No. But why? It's his collarbone. Okay, this is not a knee. This is not a back. And we saw him, and you're watching the video. If you're watching it on Fox Sports 1, he threw 30 passes of 50 yards or more. He's clearly fine, and you're worried about his health. I believe he had the rod put in, and if you remember back what. Romo broke his collarbone twice. He had the rod put in the second time. He rushed it back. He had the rod put in. That's why he's been out an extended amount of time. I'm led to believe that if it's close at all, if they have any shot of making the playoffs, he's going to play. That's the type of guy he is. And I think it's a couple things. One, he understands the window is always smaller than you think it is.
Right.
Secondly, you look around the landscape of the NFC, and sure, the Eagles are great, but it's Carson Wentz's second year.
Goff.
Right? Otherwise, you're talking about Jared Goff. The Cowboys are dysfunctional. Seattle's too banged up. Atlanta's still figuring out a new offensive coordinator.
Breeze is getting older.
Okay, and like Breeze is fine. They're fine, but they're not. Aaron Rodgers, I think, has the ego of a champion. As you know, he plays with a bag of chips on his shoulder. And he believes they gave one away a couple years ago to Seattle. He had a bad calf, couldn't move, should have won the game, and they choked. And he thinks maybe we could get one back. We just get in the playoffs, and I'm healthy, and I can make things happen. And who's to say he couldn't?
Okay, let's go. Yesterday, you and Clay Travis, highly opinionated guys, like both of you. So Tennessee basically hires Greg Schiano, and my takeaway is the fans don't like the hire because they're unrealistic and thought they were going to get Gruden, which they had no shot.
Correct.
So anger comes from expectations that are unrealistic. So they never had a shot. Gruden didn't get him. Schiano, who's a good, solid Dan Mullen B hire. Very good coach. Mullen and Schiano, to me, are the same. One's O, one's D, but they're both good, solid guys, can recruit. And Tennessee just goes crazy. The fans go nuts. Clay Travis, part of that kind of internet thing. A little bit of a mob thing, which I don't like. What ticked you off the most?
Well, look, I like Clay. I consider Clay a friend, and obviously we're all colleagues working together. But one of the things that he rails against, Colin, is the mob mentality on Twitter, to which you hear part of stories that have some facts and a lot of feelings in them.
Yes.
And you all of a sudden have marches, have protests because of it. And that's what took place here. Like, look, everybody is disgusted by what happened at Penn State.
Yes.
And he was on staff at Penn State. But we should also remember that Jerry Sandusky had almost everybody fooled. Okay, when Jerry Sandusky left Penn State, he did so to run his foundation, and the foundation was taking care of disadvantaged young boys. Okay, people gave money because they thought Jerry wasn't just an okay guy. They thought he was the world's greatest guy. He wasn't just a liar. He was a convincing liar. And, oh, yeah, by the way, look, we both know Gene Smith, Ohio State's athletic director.
Yeah, great guy.
He is beyond reproach in terms of his credibility as a human being.
Yeah.
And if he had an issue, any issue at all, with Schiano and his ties to what happened in Penn State, do you think he'd be on staff at Ohio State?
By the way, Belichick, who doesn't heap praise on Brady, came out yesterday. He's like, Schiano is beyond reproach.
Well, the two guys, in order to get a job in college football or in college basketball, you got to have people make calls for you.
Sure.
Right? In college basketball, it used to be a Pitino makes the call, you get the job. Pitino, Coach K, Izzo, those guys make a call, you're getting a job. In football, Urban Meyer and Bill Belichick. Those are the two guys making a call for Greg Schiano. And if you think about it, they didn't go to a bowl game since 1980 before he got to Rutgers. Like Rutgers is what helped bring down Penn State. Remember, Penn State went through a period in which they were not competitive. They couldn't recruit Jersey because Rutgers was getting players. It hurt Nebraska football because they used to go into New Jersey and get players.
Schiano's
they couldn't.
A good coach.
Schiano's a good coach. Is he a great hire? Was he a perfect fit? Did they screw it up by not vetting and being prepared for the Penn State questions? Yes. But the Twitter mob mentality where you didn't like the coach, you built up unrealistic expectations with these groomers that John Gruden was going to leave Monday Night Football to coach Tennessee.
No shot.
You get let down and you take it out. And look, they've damaged Greg Schiano beyond repair.
Yeah, that's it. It really pisses me off.
It does. How
Makes...
can you hire him now? Is it when Tennessee hired him, people revolted? Now any other student body hires him, and they'll decide we can revolt.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.